Hello, my dears. Mrs. Claus here, and I thought I might share one of my favorite activities with you. I love to build, and Santa just gave me a brand new set. So, shall we build it together? This is my new elf clubhouse, and I'm very excited. So, let's go ahead and open, shall we? Now, we Clauses tend to be very organized builders. So you'll see me lay out my bags based on their number. So I'm going to close this back up, set it to the side, and we're going to move everything that's not bags number 1. So Lego tends to be a very common and very popular gift that children ask for Christmas, and Santa and I adore building with Lego. So, I thought I might share some of this build with you today. When I build with Lego, I do things in a little bit of an interesting way. There are lots of Lego builders like me who are master builders. And master builders very much want to make sure that they have all their pieces in order. So, not just organizing my bags, but making sure that all of my pieces stay together and getting those organized before I start building. That's something that not everybody does. So we're gonna go ahead and open up my bag number 1s. I'm gonna keep these off to the side and my smaller pieces off to the side, my reindeer off to the side. I love my tool for separating bricks when I've had a hard time and I've put something together it didn't quite work the right way. Here we are. So I'm going to do something that lots of builders like to do, which is called knolling. And when you knoll your pieces, you're going to lay them out so that you know what you have. So I'm taking pieces that are all the same and putting them all together. So I have a whole bunch of these hunter green flat pieces. I have a different shape hunter green piece that I'm going to put over this place too. And I'm just going to get these all organized. Now, I got very excited about this elf clubhouse because I spend a lot of time with the elves. Now I know Santa runs the workshop, but I spend time with the elves helping them relax, having snowball fights, which is one of my favorite things to do with them. And I learned a lot about elf history and elf culture when I went to Elf College. Did you know we have a college at the North Pole? Elf College was wonderful. I actually got to do some really remarkable studies when I went. Santa went too, you know. Because we want to make sure that we know how to have the best possible experience for everybody at Christmas time. So, when I went, I ended up not just with my initial degree, I ended up with 2 master's degrees from Elf College. I have a master's in 2 different topics. Christmas culinary confections, that's baking Christmas trees, and readying reindeer fur, that's training deer, reindeer, and other related animals, and it's how to take good care of them as well. So I get very excited about sharing some elf culture with you. Elves are known for a couple of things. You know them as being excellent toy makers, and they are. But they're also really wonderful bakers. There are a lot of elves who are very good with shoemaking. Actually, all of my shoes are made by the elves and they're absolutely beautiful. They love singing. They love decorating. They love visiting animals in the woods. They love all sorts of things. And so I want you to get to know a little bit more about our wonderful elves at the North Pole while I'm building this little elf clubhouse. Oh, I've got such fun pieces here. So that's the larger of the bags sort of organized here, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. We have truly remarkable elves at the North Pole, but one that we could not have Christmas without is Bernard. Santa has an incredible friend and helper in Bernard. Bernard is our head elf. And Bernard has been at the North Pole longer than I have. He was there with Santa at his right hand from the very beginning. And Bernard is the one that helped Santa plan what the toy workshop would look like, lay out the North Pole, plan North Pole Square in the center of town, and establish some of those wonderful Christmas traditions that we all know and love. Bernard is the one who introduced me to the incredible combination that is peppermint and hot chocolate. It's his favorite treat to have when he's working hard on his list with Santa, and it became my favorite too. I end up using a lot of peppermint and chocolate in my baking together because of my admiration and respect for Bernard and my thankfulness that he introduced me to such a great flavor combination. As a Lego builder, these little 1x1 studs are the things that get lost most easily, and that's part of why I spend my time knolling like this, so I don't lose any of these. So they're all gonna be here together. Do you do this when you build? Not everybody does, and it's not something that you have to do, but I've found that I really enjoy it because it lets me lay my hands on the pieces and see where they are, so I don't have to go hunting through a pile. You know, Bernard's not the only elf that means a whole lot to us. We actually get to check in with all of your elves. I know, the elf on the shelf. You let them do their job, don't you? Make sure that they can observe and share with Santa and I how you've been doing. All right, I've built my first piece for this Lego set, and it's an elf. Little pointy ears and a cute little red scarf and freckles on their cheeks. This one reminds me of one of the elves I know at the workshop. Her name is Hilda, and Hilda spends a lot of time making shoes and accessories and making everybody look wonderful. Hilda made some of my favorite pairs of shoes that I wear. She's not the only elf that has made shoes for me. I'm actually very lucky. Hilda and Kit Kat have made really beautiful shoes. So the next time you see me, ask. I'm happy to show you. One of the things that makes my shoes so fun is that Hilda and Kit Kat and the other elves that make shoes have started doing things like decorating the bottoms of them, places that nobody else would see, but I do, and I always remember who made them. It's like an artist's signature when you sign your work. Hilda gets very excited because she truly believes everybody wants a hippopotamus for Christmas. So the bottoms of my shoes that Hilda made for me have got pictures of a hippopotamus on them. So everybody gets two, one on each shoe. And that makes her incredibly happy. Kit Kat really loves space and kitties. And so her shoes have got kitties flying in rockets on the underside, where just she and I know where they are. I have shoes with gingerbread cookies on them and sparkly snowflakes. I've got shoes with holly. I even have shoes with fun baubles on them. It does take me longer to build because I know, but always, always, always worth it in the long run. This one's nice and easy. I actually really like this piece. We, for the longest time, had reindeer pieces that you had to build. This is a really cool, very special mold. The antlers are flexible, so they're not going to break. The reindeer pieces are always my very favorite. Reindeer actually travel in herds. They're nomadic, and they travel in herds of anywhere from a couple of thousand to really several 100,000. And we have some nomadic herds. We have some trained reindeer who pull carts and sleighs. We have some reindeer who pull Santa's sleigh. That's the flight team. And of course you know their names, don't you? There's 9 of them. There's Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. And then of course we have Rudolph, who joined the sleigh team when we found that we had a very, very stormy Christmas Eve. Santa needed to be able to see. Rudolph's red nose helped save Christmas. Rudolph is an interesting figure. Rudolph is the only member of the sleigh team that's a boy. All of our other reindeer that pull the sleigh are girls. Reindeer, this is actually how you know not everybody knows fun things about reindeer, but I certainly do. Reindeer that are male lose their antlers. They shed their antlers every year. And they shed their antlers in November. And female reindeer keep theirs until February or March. So when you see reindeer with antlers at Christmas time, those are girls. Do you see Rudolph with antlers? He's little, he's young. And so he's a young male reindeer, a buck, with no antlers. Not at Christmas time. He gets his the rest of the year. All right, we're all organized. Shall I show you what this knolling looks like? Okay, let's build. I love that they give pictures as the instructions for Lego. That's the way that we build all of our toys in the workshop, is we make sure that we've got an image to work from. With pieces like this one, you want to make sure that your studs are lined up so that you can snap them into place without them shifting on you. And then once you've got one down, then it's easier with those single studs to get your tree base. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Isn't that charming? All right. And I'll show you what we've built so far. There are waffles in this set. Santa and I had waffles for breakfast on Christmas morning. It's one of his favorite breakfasts. We like waffles and strawberries and whipped cream, and I put some sprinkles on my whipped cream. Some green sugar sprinkles. And we have it with hot cocoa. Wonderful way to have a very special breakfast. That's not our all the time breakfast, but it's certainly our special one. Santa loves using a waffle maker. So I'm glad that there are waffles in this set. That's going to make Santa so happy to see. And I'm grateful you're here and joining me today as I build one of my special Christmas presents from Santa. He delivers for me the same way he delivers for you. I am the last stop. He delivers for all of the elves and for me. And then he goes to sleep. It's a lot of traveling. And I leave out milk and cookies for Santa too. I leave out his favorites. Do you know Santa's favorite cookie? You'll like this. Santa's favorite cookie is round. It's true. He likes round cookies, and he says that if the cookie isn't round, he doesn't mind. He'll eat around the edges until it's round, and then it's his favorite cookie. I once asked him You have to tell me something other than round, Santa. What's your favorite cookie? And he said, I have 2 favorite cookies, store-bought and homemade. Silly Santa. This year I left him out some of my homemade gingerbread and some sugar cookies that I had decorated to look like him. And he really enjoys getting to try and quietly sneak into the house and deliver the gifts and get into bed before I notice he's come home. He never succeeds. I always know when he's coming, but I let him deliver the things. Because I don't sleep well until I know that Santa has gotten home safe. I worry so. It's a lot of flying. And it's a lot for the reindeer, which is why we spend year-round training, not just the flight crew, but reindeer to be backup to the flight crew. We've got several flight teams, but his 9 are the first ones to go out. And then we have plans in case something happens. Sometimes the reindeer gets hurt. Sometimes a reindeer is tired or not feeling well. We make sure that they get to stay at the North Pole if they need to. And I take care of them while Santa's making his rounds. All right, so I have everything ready to start bag number 2. Here's my 2 chairs I've been building. Now we're going to expand our base. I like this a lot. Much fun. So here's the base of our house. Looks like I've got an opening here for a rounded door and hinges here in black and places for several windows. So now it's time to start adding a little bit of the second level here. Time to start doing some interiors. Oh, it's plates with waffles. All right. There's a wrapping station. See? The wrapping paper coming down off the wall. Looks like I've got all of box 2 finished. There is a little kitchenette and a little wrapping station and the ability to have hot cocoa whenever you need it. So far, in our elf clubhouse, we've got the first floor done, and we're going to start building up the second floor, which includes where the elves sleep, in their bunk beds. So I'm going to set this aside, where I've got all my other finished pieces, and it's time to start knolling the bag. Now, I'm rather tickled that they have decided to show, in this set, that elves sleep in bunk beds, because they do. I actually really like being able to be up high. They take turns with who gets to sleep in the top bunk, because sharing is very important to elves and to weak clauses. And let's face it, bunk beds are just more fun to sleep in. One of my responsibilities is catching that magic of the Northern Lights and bottling it for Santa. Northern Lights can be used for lots and lots of things. Aurora Borealis helps Santa feel like he's at home wherever he is, and that's always helpful. But it also can help the reindeer fly, which is why not all reindeer fly. In fact, not even all of our reindeer fly. Ours can, with that magical help from the Aurora Borealis. And lots and lots and lots of training. Have I ever told you about my favorite reindeer? I get asked about that a lot, and everybody expects me to say one of Santa's most famous. The 9. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, and Rudolph. And I love them very much. My very favorite reindeer is the reason I met Santa. When I was a little girl, all the way up until I was a young woman, I spent a lot of time exploring in the woods right there at the edge of the Arctic Circle. I would learn how to identify different kinds of trees. I'd be able to follow animal tracks. I learned all the sounds of the forests by my home. I got very good at those things, and I still like to explore outside. One day, when I was a young woman, there was the sound of an unhappy reindeer. Now, I had learned that sound, living where I lived and spending as much time exploring outside as I had. And I know that reindeer are herd animals. You see, reindeer are never really by themselves. They don't want to become prey. And so, when a reindeer is all alone, a reindeer is vulnerable and usually very scared. Well, I heard the sounds of this reindeer, and I knew it needed to be able to find its family. And so I went up, followed the sounds, and found a sweet little dove. This reindeer was very nervous, and so it took me a little bit of time to earn her trust enough to walk up to her safely. When I did, I introduced myself. I said, "Hello, my name is Carol Noel, and I know you're very scared right now and very nervous. I know these woods so well. I can help you through them to find your way to the rest of your herd. What is your name, my dear? And I'm happy to help you." She told me her name was Harmony, and she trusted me enough to let me lead her along through the woods until I started being able to see some of the tracks of reindeer. Now, making sure I found the right herd was going to be tricky, but I knew that they couldn't have been far off because they wanted to find Harmony too. Reindeer do this thing when they feel nervous or scared or threatened. They run around in a circle, but not as a single line of reindeer. The whole herd moves in a circle. It almost looks like a tornado of reindeer. And the reindeer had begun to circle because they were missing Harmony, and they needed to make sure that all the other reindeer stayed safe and protected. Herds do that, you know. Well, as I began to approach, I called out, "I have your friend Harmony, and she is safe. Can you please let me in?" The reindeer slowed a bit because they saw Harmony with me. And Harmony was very excited to see her family. Tens of thousands of them. She ran up to the rest of her family, and they began to nuzzle me with their muzzles to say thank you. I got reindeer kisses on my cheeks, big wet lips. And the herd being happy made me incredibly happy. And I thought that would be the end of it. And just as I turned to go, I heard the sound of sleigh bells. Now, that's one of my favorite sounds. But these sleigh bells sounded like no other sleigh bell I had ever heard. Up over the hill, as the sleigh bells got louder, came a red sleigh. 8 reindeer, pitched up with the most remarkable sleigh bell harnesses. The sleigh stopped, and out of it popped a little old driver. So lively, so quick. It was Santa. I didn't realize that this was one of Santa's reindeer. He got out of his sleigh and he saw what was going on and the way that the reindeer were reacting. They weren't circling anymore like a tornado. They were comfortable and still and nuzzling me. and Santa knew the reindeer felt safe with me. He thanked me for finding the little lost reindeer. He had been out looking for her with the sleigh team. Well, he smiled and he said, "Don't know how I could ever thank you, but that sweet little reindeer is important to this herd. She has the most wonderful name." And I smiled and I said, "Harmony." Santa was surprised. You see, reindeer don't typically talk to people. He was rather surprised that Harmony had told me her name and that I had understood it. Because reindeer talking to you is one thing, but understanding how to speak reindeer is a whole different thing. Santa smiled. Her name is Harmony, and that tells me that she trusts you. And that means that I can trust you too. And that was the day that I met Santa Claus, and why Harmony is my very favorite. We're going to take this piece and lock it where it goes, right here above where the elves are going to be sleeping, with the calendar on the inside. Now we've got some interior to finish on our little elf clubhouse. Now it's time for bag. Number 4, we're going to be building the roof, and we're going to be building lots of fun details. All right, roof is on with this little holly decoration. I'm going to pull down on this red side. The bedroom. Isn't that charming? And here's our telescope. We're watching the night sky and making sure Santa gets home safe. And it can be angled, just like a telescope should be. Oh, I'm so happy doing this. Building with Lego makes me jolly. That is everything for bag 4. Time for me to open bag 5 and finish the chimney. Waffles that get dispensed and then sent down into the pan. It's hung here. I'm going to put our extra pieces here in our bag. And then we're going to connect our kitchen space. All of my moving pieces. So we can open our door here, and it's a nice oval door, which I think is really fun. I love the North Pole here, and the lights. All done. And now I've got my elf clubhouse. There are 4 little elves, and a nice list computer, and a really lovely tree with a star on top, and a reindeer hitched up to a sleigh, and some wrapped presents. And there's a keyboard, and an airplane, and a boat, a ship, a 2-masted ship. We've got a kitchen, and a light for our elves. Very excited about the light break in here. We can get our elves out of bed. I'm going to light this up so you can see it a little bit easier. So you can tip them out of their little bunk beds. You can also serve them waffles, which I think is really fun. Put the waffles in the top here. Dispense a waffle. And then once it's ready, tip it out of the pan. Santa did such a good job this year on my present. I really love my elf clubhouse. So if you're a builder, tell me the things you like to build. And if you haven't yet, let us know what you like for Christmas. We love you. Thank you for watching. Merry Christmas.